Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio, so today we need to take a little bit of a look at a new Pikachu and a new Raichu, and look at this Pikachu. Now, Kuramitsu is one of those artists which came around in the Pokemon TCG pretty recently. Quite a recent artist, not actually done that many cards in the game so far. But what we've got here is a super distinctive style. And don't worry, I'm going to tell you what these cards do and how good they are and all of that. But I need to give a little bit of love to Kuramitsu here. We've only actually seen 5 cards by this artist so far, although one of them is the character rare of Dedenne, which I think we can all agree is pretty gosh darned awesome. And that promo Oshawott, yeah, that's in there as well. Very distinctive style, very cool. And now this... Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I can't remember the last time I saw a Pikachu artwork that was this gosh darn good. Although having said that, Hyuga did do the promo Pikachu V for Celebrations. That is one I'm pretty fond of, but it's a full art V, or kind of full art V, depending how you look at it, and all of that. So it's not really a fair comparison, alright? This card, absolutely, flat out, stunning, beautiful, I love it. Is it any good? Well, the translations here actually come largely from me, but I did have to ask the lovely Antoine Boulet to help me out finishing them, especially with this ability. I knew it was something to do with energy and retreat cost. I didn't quite get all the way, which when you see what the ability does is actually kind of embarrassing. Don't judge me. So what we've got is 60 HP, which is not particularly good. And we've got, I don't know, not much going on here, honestly. But the ability says, if this Pokemon has any energy attached to it, it has no retreat cost. Like I said, I knew it was something to do with energy and something to do with retreat. And come on, Wassy, I could have got the rest of the way. Slightly embarrassing. Cheers to Antoine for helping us out on that one. And this is quite nice. It's actually a really sneaky nice ability. Because what it basically means is that if I'm sitting there and, if I start with this card, I don't have to leave it there. One of the things that you really want, especially turn 1 when you're not able to attack, you want to be able to get out of the active. That's what you really want to be able to do so you can get the right Pokemon in the active. You want to make sure that you end your first turn with the right Pokemon active. This lets you do that. Maybe you want Pikachu in the active, in which case, brilliant. Maybe you don't want Pikachu in the active, in which case, brilliant. Either way, I like this more than the competition, and the competition isn't particularly strong, alright? Let's be perfectly clear. There aren't that many really good Pikachu cards running around right now, but, the best we've got are the Sword and Shield Pikachu, which attaches an energy from your deck, and the Evolving Skies Pikachu that attaches an energy from your discard. And look, I know that means you've got extra energy on your Pikachu at the start of turn 2 to start attacking, but if you're using this attack, then your opponent's had at least one turn. So you're kind of hoping that your opponent is going to have 2 turns without being able to KO a Pikachu. That's just not happening, alright? I really like the idea that I can just get out the active and go from there. As for the attack is not particularly good. Free energy, 50 damage. Flip a coin. If tails, this attack does nothing. I did translate this myself. I'm getting slightly proud of myself when I managed to do these. Yeah, free energy on a 60 HP Pokemon's not happening. And then if you flip tails, you don't get to do anything. Now, this is absolutely terrible. Let's move on to Raichu. Now, Raichu here, we go up to 120 HP, which we've said before is a bad amount of HP, because stuff like Urshifu is going to have an absolute field day with you. And, Jolteon needs to drop 2 damage counters before it can KO you on the bench. It's not ideal. Having Manaphy nowadays really helps, don't get me wrong, but I don't like having 120 HP. It's too easy for your opponent to hit the numbers here, and it makes me a little bit nervous. Now, one of these attacks I got all by myself. The other one I thought I did, but it turns out I was actually not quite right. But I was close, so I'm still a little bit proud of myself. First attack, single energy, 30 damage, flip a coin, if heads, paralysis. It's fine. It's not great. It's fine. I like that it's single energy. I don't like that it's on a stage 1. This is one of those attacks where you're buying time, and it really is as simple as that. It really is. That's where we are. If you need to buy time, it's good. 30 damage is not enough, frankly. The fact that it's a stage 1 is awkward. It's not perfect, alright? But it's fine. It's okay. That's the best I can say about it. It's okay. But the second attack I like a lot. Lightning, double colorless energy, 100 damage. If you've used your V-Star power, this attack does 120 more damage. Yes. All of the yes. And this is kind of interesting, because there were actually 3 cards back in the Sun and Moon era that did extra damage depending on whether you'd used your GX attack. Because of course in Sun and Moon you had your once per game GX attack, now you've got your once per game V-Star power, which could be an attack or an ability. So you had Skarmory, 2 energy, 20 damage, but 90 if you've used your GX attack. Tapu Bulu, 3 energy, 60 damage, 120 if you've used your GX attack. That one was only ever released as a promo. And Zygarde, 60 damage if you've used your GX attack, 60 more. You'll notice that both Tapu Bulu and Zygarde and Skarmory are all called Calm Strike. However, Skarmory's is a little bit different. This is apparently called a Spark, which is not the same and makes me a little bit sad. The thing is, with all of those Pokemon, they never really hit the key numbers. Nobody really cared. They were too expensive. Here, you've actually got the same cost as Tapu Bulu and Zygarde. The difference is you are hitting the key number. I have told you guys over and over again, and I'm going to keep telling you because it's hyper relevant, 220 damage. That is what we need. 220 damage is the number for trying to get a KO on Pokemon V. That is what you need to hit. Well, great news, ladies and gentlemen, you're hitting 220. You are hitting the perfect number. And one of the things which is kind of interesting and kind of good here, I suppose, is the fact that it's not actually important whether you've got Choice Belt on here or not, because 250 isn't really going to hit any Pokemon V-Star. But 220 will hit Pokemon V. Yes, there'll be the odd one here or there you don't get, but largely, this just hits the numbers perfectly. And we end up with that thing that we like so much here, and that is a single prize Pokemon that can get a one-hit KO on a multiple prize Pokemon. We like this. We like single prize Pokemon that can KO multiple prize Pokemon. It trades brilliantly. What's the downside? Free energy. I'm sure most of you have already kind of spotted and acknowledged that. Having to get free energy on this Pokemon is potentially a problem. Because you've got a 120 HP Pokemon. Generally speaking, loading lots of energy onto a fairly weak Pokemon, fairly low HP Pokemon, it's not always a good idea. Because that Pokemon goes down, you got to reload the energy, and you start running out of resources, to put it bluntly, quicker than you generally like. Obviously, in a Flaffy deck, this is great. And I mentioned Manaphy earlier, you will definitely need Manaphy if you're rocking a Flaffy deck. But I've seen some people lately having, admittedly quite mild, but having a little bit of success with Flaffy. And that's what we really need here. What we really need is to try and make sure we're playing some kind of Flaffy deck or some way to move energy round. Now, obviously, one thing we can do here quite nicely is use double turbo energy, but then that thing I told you about the numbers becomes a little bit more awkward. Because now all of a sudden you're not hitting 220, you're hitting 200, which is still doable, but my point is at that stage you will then need Choice Belt. That is fairly important. Nothing we can do, it's just one of those things. But it's kind of cool and it's, it's an option. Double turbo energy is quite nice. And then obviously, it's only in V-Star decks, and it's only if you're using an early V-Star power. Now, Arceus is a classic example of this. I watched a lot of Arceus being played at the regional championships in Salt Lake City, where we had that official stream. And what you saw a lot, Arceus players tend to evolve up and use it. Evolve up, use Starbirth, search for those perfect 2 cards and get rolling. That's how people generally play it, and that's cool. In that kind of deck, it would work, and obviously Arceus is a great example here, because Arceus can flood energy onto Pokemon V. Only Pokemon V. But it's going to be playing double turbo energy, so you literally would just need something like an energy switch, double turbo, go. And in a deck like that, where you've got energy flying around the field, and it actually would be a huge advantage to be able to KO Pokemon V with a single prize Pokemon, maybe. And my issue here is that it's awkward. Because by its very nature, it has to be used in a deck with Pokemon V-Star, and even then, only V-Star that use their V-Star power early, because if you haven't used your V-Star power, this sucks. And then you've got to get the free energy on, and Energy Switch Double Turbo will do it, Flaffy will do it, there's ways to do it, but it's all getting a little bit awkward. But I do think the payoff is worth it, I really do. This might be one that really is worth it. As a side note, if you're playing Raichu anyway, don't forget you could also tech in the Raichu from Evolving Skies, which does 50 damage to each Pokemon V and GX in play. But you're going to have to play Pokemon V in order for this Raichu to be good enough, which makes the Raichu from Evolving Skies kind of awkward. But as a one-card tech, just to try and get the last KO if you almost KO but not quite, I can actually see if you're playing this Raichu, just literally like a one-off tech of the other Raichu could actually be kind of fun. Either way, I'm giving this one between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. If I could just do 220 on a single prize Pokemon, KO Pokemon V, only give up one prize in return, you know I am all over that. But the fact that it's only in Pokemon V-Star decks and then only in some Pokemon V-Star decks, the fact that the energy cost is a little bit awkward, that does give me pause for thought. But there's got to be something here, right? There's got to be something here that we can look at and go, hang on a second, this is worth it. I reckon someone's going to fit this into a deck at some point. And then, of course, let's not forget that people are starting to play Zoroark in some of these decks. And Zoroark can switch with any Stage 1 Pokemon in your discard, and you still need your Lightning Energy, so it's still not easy, but things are out there, ladies and gentlemen. Things are out there. For now, I want to know what you think about this. I want to know if you think it's good enough, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.